Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 144, which is called Kokuri's Secret. So, this was, I think in the end, a pretty solid episode. I think the main thing I liked in this episode was that they actually had some nice character reveals that finally used some of the characters a little bit more of like, oh, this is who Kokuri is. This is how he ended up in the prison. This is his connection to the Majina gang. And then with Kamata, I actually really liked how they incorporated like him into this of, Benga suddenly is trying to use him as a snitch. He reveals that he knows all about the sort of letters he's been sending home. And it makes, Kamata out to be this very pathetic character, a coward, sort of like how he's presented a little bit already. But that the one thing he really cares about is his little sister who is ill, and just that's he's been saving up all of this money so she can get the medical treatment that she wants. But he sort of finds out that like, oh, it's already happened, and the one thing that prevents him from going ahead with being the snitch on everyone is that he realizes, like after overhearing Kokuri and what happened to him, that the money that they're looking for here, Kokuri donated it to the hospital, basically, and that's why his little sister was able to get the medical treatment. So he sort of owes Kokuri, even if like Kokuri did it not really knowing that would happen. But that, I suppose he finds out Kokuri is a good guy, so there's no need to, put all of this stuff at risk. So I think, this episode deserves praise just for being able to do a sort of like serious, slightly emotional little bit of an arc with just Kokuri's backstory along with like Kamata's backstory, and you obviously hope that something good comes out of it, in that now, as we get towards, I suppose, the end of this prison segment of the arc, you want to see like Kamata like reunite with his sister. You want to see something along those lines happen, in that the characters that are, their cellmates, you actually want to see a little bit more of them and have them not just be like left in prison, forgotten, Boruto and Mitsuki get out and that's it. You want to see like, oh, these people weren't actually in there for anything particularly serious, so they can get out, or something along those lines. That's sort of the approach that you want to see. So that's going to be interesting in that, like, probably one of the things that I thought was interesting in terms of, again, a big thing happening within the episode that still sort of confuses me to a degree, but I liked the general plot point was, of course, Mujo being taken away ill because Benga took his pills away from him. What I liked about it is that obviously it takes away the character who is basically going to allow Boruto and Mitsuki to get out easy. Now it presents a situation that with Benga in charge, he is not going to let them out. Benga doesn't know that they're in there, like, I suppose, just to investigate. So they now have to break out. So this is obviously a prison arc. We were expecting some sort of a breakout thing to happen at some point, but now here is all of the setup that we need for that to happen. So now it's all about, okay, what clever plans are there to actually cause the breakout? How are they going to make this work? What are the different stages of the plan, and so on? So that was that's something at least thought-provoking going into the next couple of episodes as we go through the escape. Other than that, the thing I'm still confused about is just the warden situation in Hozuki Castle. Just because, as far as I'm aware, in canon, Mui from the movie was the warden at some point. And while Naruto's like stay in Kazuki Castle wasn't necessarily canon, Mui as a character and his introduction there, his jutsu and so on, was canon. The Kakashi novel, which is canon, confirmed that Mui died. So, at the end of the Kakashi novel, one of the characters there, Kaio, was basically introduced there as the new warden of the prison, because her ice-style jutsu can work in a similar way to the celestial prison jutsu. So, where we left off, she was the warden. And the weird thing is that, like, all of a sudden we're only a couple of years on from that in a way. Like, I suppose it is like a good amount of time, but it's still not like a crazy amount. Suddenly she's nowhere to be seen, and we have another guy with celestial, prison jutsu, but he has like a heart problem, so he's like really old. So, it feels like there's this big disconnect in terms of like, where did this guy come from? Who is Mujo? And it's not that I'm questioning anything about him or I'm suspicious about him. It's just canon-wise, based on the material, I'm really unclear about the timeline of how all this stuff played out, and like, where is Kaio? Because she was a good character because they basically set up a little bit of a romance between her and Kakashi in that book. And I think everyone wants to see the anime get around to animating that light novel because it's actually really, really good. But they seem to not want to do that for some reason. But anyway, last things about the episode, I suppose, are I did like the sequence where they finally got Kokuri to sort of reveal the truth about himself. Of like, Boruto leads him into the room, the book drops, Kokuri, just picks it up, and then he sees the second in command of the Mujina gang come in and like have a fight with Boruto. And initially my thought was that, Boruto's just gone behind a bookshelf, used like shadow clone jutsu and transformation jutsu on one of the clones, and then he himself is the other one, and so that's what's happening here. Instead, the way they did it was just that it was, when he put the book back on the shelf, he looked Sarada in the eye and she used genjutsu on him. So that was actually a really kind of clever reveal to get that reveal coming out. It was actually a pretty just cool sequence in general. Even though obviously it wasn't much of an action sequence, it was more of just a tense sequence. But it was still, I still think it worked well within the episode. And then, of course, behind the scenes, you still have that second in command guy in cahoots basically with Benga, and they're sort of planning things. Even though we know that the guy's lying, because we know that the money has been donated already. It's nowhere to be found basically. So Benga is ultimately just being used in this. He's just a pawn basically of the second in command guy. So that's where the arc actually has some interest in terms of what exactly they do going into the finale. That's going to be pretty big. But yeah, there are my thoughts on episode 144. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.